Hi, I'm Caleb. I've been using model trains and videos for years, but I don't have the best track record when it comes to customizations. I'm trying to get better at it, so join me as I dive into the world of miniature modeling. This is Caleb's Trains. This video is not made for kids. I will be showcasing dangerous tools and toxic materials that are potentially hazardous. Children should not have access to these, and please remember to use proper safety techniques. Thanks. If you've seen my Making James video, then you'd know that a great sacrifice was made in order to make this model possible. In the weeks since, my conscience has been burdened with guilt. If it weren't for me, Busy Bee James would still be with us today. This version of the character made such a significant cultural impact, as you can see from some of these personal and heartfelt testimonies.
Up and he goes, "Joey, baby!" And he grabbed my cheek, started to squeeze it like he always did. And I thought he was going to get shot.
James is a great guy. I love him. I love him to bits. He actually helped me do my taxes. And don't get me wrong, I love the guy to bits, but he does not know how to read, and I don't know how he was able to even write my taxes out.
It was my civic responsibility to bring the franchise's most iconic engine back to life. The shell was provided by the LBSC Thomas and printed by Greens Trains. Right away, I had to be as busy as a bee. A few rounds of sanding, priming, and filling later, the canvas was ready. Busy Bee James has a complex and varied color palette, so I had to make sure I got everything right. I wasn't sure where to start. Black it was. I sprayed him with Rustoleum's Ultra Matte Black, which is actually satin? Huh. When he had a coat of black on him, I took a moment to evaluate the progress. And you know what? This wasn't going to be good enough. None of my efforts would ever be good enough. I was so blind. Bachman's rendition of Busy Bee James was flawless. The incredibly accurate, up-to-date mold could not be topped. And the face, well, that's just priceless. I realized that I needed to restore him, not replace him. Now Busy Bee James could be the busiest bee in history. But what about that old inferior model I started? What use could I possibly have for a James that was all black? I've always found James's original black livery really cool. I was really happy they brought it back for The Adventure Begins. Even Bachman made one. I have reached my limit on Bachman Jameses I can have in my possession, so making my own was the way to go. There were a couple of ways I could have gone about this. In The Adventure Begins, James has red lining like in the books, but unlike the books, he has a gold dome and rear tender lining as well as his number 5. In a Meet James introductory video, when they reference his black paint, his boiler bands are actually gold like his red livery here. They're all interesting takes, but I decided to stick with his look in the books. And it just so happened to be a bonus that, I didn't have to paint his dome. My thought process was, the more contrast between his two looks, the better. And no backlining, no thank you. With the vinyl supplied by the train modeler, I actually didn't do any masking. I was really careful with the handrails. I didn't want a repeat of what happened last time. Black James was then able to borrow some parts from his red counterpart since they'd never be seen on screen together. I opted for no number as, again, the books, and then is that it? Well, I guess that's that then. So no, I didn't make a custom Busy Bee James, but I did make a black one, which is almost as cool. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I promise not all of my videos are this strange, but they're close. Goodbye.
Yeah, I can't read.